You're reading this on a screen. Maybe it's your phone. Maybe it's a laptop. Maybe it's 11 p.m. and you told yourself you'd sleep an hour ago, and here you are, bathed in blue light. Absolutely not sleeping. Now imagine that screen goes dark. Not sleep mode dark. Not low battery dark, gone. Permanently. Forever. No. Street lights outside your window. No glow from the fridge when you open it at midnight for no reason. No standby light on the TV, no clock display, nothing, just you and the dark. And whatever is moving in it, that was every human being who ever lived. For 99.9% of our existence. And the question nobody actually stops to ask is this: what did they do with it? The dark was different. Then here's something modern humans genuinely cannot experience anymore without serious effort. True darkness, not the kind where your eyes adjust after a few minutes and you can make out shapes. Not countryside dark where there's still some ambient glow on the horizon. Absolute, total, crushing, dark. The kind where you hold your hand directly in front of your face and you see nothing. Not a shadow, not an outline, nothing. For our ancestors, this happened every single night. No exceptions, no alternatives, and it didn't arrive. Quietly, it arrived with sounds, because the animals that hunted humans, leopards, hyenas, lions, were not day creatures. They were built for exactly this: better eyes, better noses, better ears. Designed by millions of years of evolution, specifically to operate in the conditions that made humans completely helpless. When the sun went down, the power dynamic flipped. During the day, humans were dangerous, coordinated hunters with tools and strategy and numbers. At night, without fire, humans were just slow, nearly blind, relatively soft animals that smelled like dinner. So what changed everything? Fire, the circle of light, somewhere. Between 400,000 and 1 million years ago, our ancestors figured out how to control fire, and this did not just mean warmth. It meant something far more profound. A campfire creates a circle, maybe 30 feet in diameter. Inside that circle you can see. You can recognize faces. You can watch each other's expressions. Outside that circle, the dark is still there. The predators are still there. But they won't cross the light, not because fire physically stops them, but because fire is wrong. It's an anomaly. An animal that controls fire is not prey. It's something else entirely, something unfamiliar. And unfamiliar, to a predator doing survival math every single night, means dangerous. So the campfire became the original security. System, no password required. No monthly subscription. Just light. But here's what nobody talks about. The campfire didn't just protect humans from predators. It created something that had never existed before in the history of life on Earth. Scheduled. Social time. What actually happened? Around the fire, think about what a campfire forces you to do. You can't farm in firelight. You can't hunt. You can't build. You can't really do anything productive in the modern sense of the word. What you can do is sit and look at other people and talk. Researchers studying the Hadza of Tanzania and the Juhoansi of the Kalahari, two of the last groups on Earth still living close to original human patterns, found something remarkable. During the day, roughly 80% of all conversation was practical. Who's hunting where? What needs gathering? Conflict resolution. Logistics. The ancient equivalent of your Monday morning work meeting. But at night, around the fire, everything changed. At night, over 80% of conversation became stories. Long, elaborate, emotionally rich stories. Stories about ancestors. Stories about the spirit world. Stories about what happened to the person who broke the rules. Stories about why the sky looks the way it does. Stories about what it means to be brave, to be generous, to be someone worth knowing every single night for tens of thousands of years. Your ancestors sat in a circle of firelight and narrated the world to each other. This is not a small detail. This is everything, because stories are how values travel across time without writing. Stories are how a child learns what their community believes before they can read. Stories are how the dead stay present in the lives of the living. The campfire was the cinema, the library, the church, the school, all of it, every night for free, powered entirely by wood. The sleep nobody told you about now. Here's the part that might genuinely change how you feel about 3 a.m., we assume that natural sleep means one continuous block, 8 hours, lights out to alarm clock. Anything else is insomnia. Anything else means something is wrong with you. That assumption is almost, certainly historically, wrong. A historian named Roger Eckhart spent 16 years going through thousands of historical documents, diaries, court records, medical texts, literature going back centuries. And what he found kept appearing over and over and over again. First sleep and second sleep. For most of human history, people did not sleep in one block. They slept in two. You'd go to sleep a couple of hours after dark. Sleep for 3 or 4 hours. Then wake up naturally, calmly, clear-headed. Stay awake for an hour or two. Then drift back to sleep until morning. This wasn't a disorder. This wasn't insomnia. This was just Tuesday. Medieval literature is full of it. Ancient texts reference it as a matter of fact. A French physician in the 1500s recommended that couples do certain things during the waking window between the two sleeps, because the body and mind were naturally relaxed and alert in a way they weren't at any other time. The watch in the night. You've seen that phrase in old texts. We assume it means guards on a wall. Often it just meant ordinary people, awake in the dark between their two sleeps, going about the quiet business of existing. And what did they do with that window? They prayed. In almost every religious tradition, the deep hours between midnight and dawn were considered sacred. The soul closest to something beyond the ordinary, they thought about their dreams, which were taken seriously as information, as messages worth examining while still fresh. They tended the fire, checked the animals, nursed infants. Some people in towns simply visited neighbors. Not dramatically, not urgently, just people who knew each other, moving quietly through the dark streets because the dark was normal, and they were not afraid of it. What ended this pattern was artificial. Light gas lamps pushed bedtime later. Electric light pushed it later still. The total window available for sleep compressed. The natural gap between first and second sleep disappeared inside a single longer block, and waking up at 3 a.m. went from ancient biological rhythm to personal malfunction. So if you've ever surfaced at 3 a.m., felt completely calm, lain there thinking clearly for an hour, then drifted peacefully back to sleep, you're not broken, you're prehistoric. Your body remembered something it was never designed to forget. What? The dark actually washer, as the thing that pulls all of this together. We think of the night as an absence, the gap between days, the time when nothing happened and nothing counted. But for most of human history, the night was when the most important things happened. It was when culture was built, story by story around a fire. It was when the deepest form of rest occurred, in two natural phases with a quiet window of reflection. Between them, it was when the sky became a navigation system, a calendar, a political map, a message from something larger than daily life. It was when communities held each other, warm and close and alive through temperatures that would otherwise kill them. The night was not empty. The night was full. And somewhere inside you, in the part of your biology that still wakes at 3 a.m. and feels strangely calm, in the part that feels something shift when you sit near a fire, in the part that is still somehow listening, for sounds in the dark even, when you know you're safe, that ancient relationship with the night is still there. It never left. You just stopped the lights long enough to forget it.